Hi Pisces, how are we today? Just doing our weekly readings, and today we're doing the monthly readings. So looking ahead at February, seeing what's in store for you. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I do really appreciate that. It really does help out the channel, of course. This week I am using, we have the Cosmic Messages Oracle. We also are using the Soul's Journey lesson cards. The Lenormand deck I have today is the Gilded Reverie Lenormand, and I also have the Sweet Love Tea Oracle as well. Okay, so getting into it for you, I do just want to say, let me know in the comments, I do have the fan running behind the camera, so just let me know if that is too loud so I can adjust that, for future videos. It is just super hot here in Australia, guys, so especially in this particular room, for some reason it holds a lot more heat than some of the other rooms in my home, and I'm trying to get a proper aircon or whatever, but at the moment I'm on fans, and the weather here has been crazy. We've either had crazy storms or it's been super hot, so dealing with it as I can, the best I can, but getting into it for you, Pisces. Overview message for Pisces for February 2025. What's going on for Pisces in February 2025? Okay. Stop pushing against what is, align with it and move on. Okay, so you're just in a little bit of conflict with the things that are current in your life. So it's kind of giving me this energy here of focusing on either side of the present. So, some of you may be focusing a little bit too much on the past. Some of you may be focusing a little bit too much on the future. And you're just kind of pushing against the present and where you currently are. So you're not sitting comfortably in the present. You are sort of focusing outside of that some way, shape or form here, which, we're needing to just sort of align with what is actually real for us right here, right now. No, it's not exactly what we want yet, and no, it's not where we've been either. That's the history. So we're not there anymore. We don't have to keep worrying about that. We don't have to keep worrying about the future. Okay, we just need to really worry about the here and the now. All right, this seems to be a common theme for people this month, but I do just want to clarify that specifically for you here, Pisces. I am sort of doing that as a bit of an overview message, and then we will sort of move into the start, middle, and end messages, but I do just want to clarify that one a little bit more for you. Clarify the energy there for Pisces February overview. Yeah, okay, so we have the birds here as well as the bear. So it kind of feels like you preemptively have your guard up against things, even though, because you're worried about the future. You're thinking, oh, if I allow that into my life, it's going to do this, that, the other. So I'm just going to guard against that right here, right now. So it's kind of this energy of, blocking things from being present in your life because you're worried about what they could turn into down the track. Just as an example there, it's kind of like that energy of, I'm not going to let that person be around me because I'm worried that, they're going to betray me. So I'm just not going to get to know them in the first place. Because I'm worried about something that may or may not happen in the future. And I feel like that's the important thing for you here, Pisces, is that the future, it's not a certainty as of yet. You have free will. Destiny has its role to play as well, but you also have free will. And, certain things are sort of kind of destined to happen regardless. So even if you try to protect yourself from things happening in the future, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to happen. And even if you protect yourself from them in that form, they may come and smack you in the face with another face something completely different, but the same energy building in another area anyway. So needing to focus on what's going on for you right here, right now. If you want to be friends with that person, be friends with that person. Don't worry about what might happen a year from now, 2 years from now. You're not worrying about the future and the fact that they may betray you in the future, but so can anyone. Everyone has the potential to do good or bad. You yourself have that potential, Pisces. So allowing that fear of potential futures to overtake your present and stop you from enjoying and just living in the present moment, it is going to hurt you even more in the long run. Okay, that energy has a way of finding you, and the more that you hide from it, the harder it's going to smack you in the face when it does. Okay, so it's just, yeah, you're just a bit on guard, trying to avoid repeating the past in the future is what I feel like for a lot of you there. Okay, Pisces. Pisces, what's going on for Pisces in February? Splitting the month, start, middle, and end. What does Pisces need to know about February 2025? Pisces, start, middle, and end of February, please. So yeah, you have the opportunity to get rid of that energy this month pretty much immediately. Although I do feel that some of you, it may pop up at random moments throughout the month for you here, and sort of having to overcome those fears a little bit throughout the duration of February here. But the start of the month, we have the guilt energy. Okay, I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. So that seems to be the main belief that we're needing to rid ourselves of, is that this belief that we're going to repeat the past in the future. Fear of what's going to happen in the future, of potential negative outcomes happening in the future that maybe look like a pattern from the past. Your guilt over allowing those to happen, and it just means that you're guilt and fear are very interlinked here. So your guilt there about allowing that pattern to have happened in the past, allowing those things to have affected you so much in the past. You kind of very staunchly up in this bear energy, very trying to stand so strong against that ever happening to me again kind of thing. But that's not actually helping the situation, because it's not actually allowing you to grow and accept the situation and actually move past that and stop that, avoiding that, because growth and acceptance is how you avoid that, rather than just staunchly standing against everything and being on guard and not letting anything in. Like I said, if it's going to come back around, it's going to come back around, and it'll hit you even harder in the face if you're trying to avoid it. So it's actually about dealing with it and moving on and leveling up from that energy, so that you're not going to attract that same energy back in. Because the more that you're trying to avoid it, the more you actually are still holding on to that same level of energy. Okay, so the start of February really is your opportunity to face those things within your past that you're worried, that are stopping you from moving forwards. Okay, the middle of February, we do have growth. Okay, so it's definitely possible here, Pisces. I want to expand my consciousness and awareness. So that's really maybe doing the work, I feel, for a lot of you around the middle of February there, allowing yourself to start accepting the present as it is, having gratitude for these things that have happened in the past, no matter how bad they are, because they're helping you grow. And as you accept them, you actually start to learn from those experiences and then move above those experiences, so you're not attracting the same thing back again. Clarify the growth energy for the middle of February for our Pisces, please. And then, okay, so moving through to the end of February, some extra clarification for the end of February messages. Awesome. So it does appear that February is going to be a strong month of growth for you, and finding your stability once again, not allowing yourself to be stuck, rather, moving forward in a much more dependable energy, where you can rely on more positive outcomes, and rely on the growth that you've experienced, and that you've accepted these things, and that you don't have to be scared of them coming back around anymore. All right, because clarifying that growth energy there, we do have the mask showing us that this is kind of a little bit of a front, Pisces, that standing so staunchly and so defensive against these things, it is a little bit of a mask, because it's covering the fact that these things still affect you. If you're so heavily trying to protect yourself from these things happening again, there is something about that it is still affecting you. Obviously, majority of you, it's going to be emotionally, that there is still some emotion attached here that you haven't, fully dealt with. So this mask is the outside covering that up and stopping you from looking deeper into those things. The fear is a bit of a mask, stopping you from actually looking deeper at the root cause of that fear there. All right, but then we do see the ship. Okay, so definitely starting to move forward into growth. Once again, we have a secondary growth card there, showing us that you are sort of starting this journey of growth within your own self. You're going, that's it, I'm getting on this ship and I'm going to travel, and start this journey and really start this adventure within my own self here. This tree is maturity, it's wisdom within your own self. It's self-care, it's healing. It is growth and maturity. Okay, so you definitely are on the right path here, Pisces. It's just a matter of being a little bit, rather than being staunch against everything else around you, being a little bit more staunch with yourself, and telling yourself, that's it, I'm not going to allow this to stop me from living my life, which is what it kind of feels like it's trying to do here with that fear, and still holding on to negative emotions like fear and guilt, and not focusing on the here and the now, and just living in the moment and going with the flow of life, and focusing on what you can change within yourself right here, right now, because the more that you're trying to change the future, the harder it's going to be, because you're not actually addressing the things from the past that are affecting your present, because it's the steps that we take in the present that engage the future here. So if you're skipping those steps in the middle, you're actually increasing the likelihood that these things that you're trying to avoid are actually going to come back around for you here, Pisces. So it's definitely good to see the growth coming through for you. We have that followed through with the dice here as well, which is where this card really comes into play at the end of February, the imagination. Okay, I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. Okay, so a lot of Pisces I know are quite imaginative, creative spirit. So I really enjoy that about my Pisces friends. So really spending that time to follow those pursuits. Okay, so whether you're the Pisces that you've been meaning to do some painting, or you're my Pisces friend who makes jewelry and sewing, or if you're my Pisces friend who does a bit more what's the way to describe the art? It's like I'm really enjoying watching the process here, because it's kind of like a destructive art. Attacking something, getting those emotions out onto the material, and then actually turning that into something creative that's inspiring growth. So I'm really enjoying that process. So keep me updated, little Miss Pisces friend. Keep me updated on that project. You know who you are. Using that imagination, making sure we pick those projects up and just do a little bit, even if it's just thinking about what you're going to do next. It is important for you to, unleash that creativity, or unleash that destructive creativity, if you prefer. But I don't know if I know me and the painter have spoken about it as well, that there's the we were watching reels one day, and it wasn't, like a lot of the time you see the Bob Ross art reels where he's, very calm, and then we paint this happy little tree. But we actually were watching a couple that were, the more emotional, destructive art, where there was he was like, okay, now we're going to put anger into our paint. And as he was painting it on, he was like, like, and yelling at the canvas and things like that. And I saw another one who totally like destroyed a Barbie doll. And he's like, I'm going to paint this with a Barbie doll. And he totally destroyed the Barbie doll, and, was using its hair as a paintbrush, and then, using its feet to like scrape things. And, it was like a Barbie doll. So it was very interesting. But you're kind of taking a bit of a risk here, and throwing your creative energy out into the universe, and sort of seeing where that leaves you, because it's just part of this growth experience for you that you're getting it out of you a little bit. You can kind of imagine that these dice, like if you're holding them close to your chest, they're never going to roll double sixes for you. But if as soon as you like release that out into the world, then you've got the opportunity for this to land on a huge combination of different things. So it's kind of like you moving forward, bring it on, universe. Give me the double sixes. If you give me a 3 and a 4, that's fine. I'll work with that, So it's you really just taking a bit of a chance to, express yourself out into the universe in the present moment in a, some sort of creative kind of way. And it's just going to be really interesting for you to see where that makes things sort of fall into place for you. It seems like this is going to have some sort of interesting role in things to come for you, that the more that you release those emotions in creative kind of ways, it really is like rolling your dice and seeing where they take you from there. So I feel like these things are going to sort of take you in some interesting directions, and for those of you who are not normally a Pisces, who does anything that you would consider destructive, creative, maybe try to take that on board a little bit. Maybe not necessarily destructive creative, although there is a lot of things that can be considered destructive creative, like things like mosaic, for example, where you smash up a bunch of plates or tiles or colored glass and then use that to be creative. But those sorts of pursuits are going to be very advantageous for you at the moment, because it's kind of the emotional creative, creating from your emotion at the moment. For you Pisces, does seem to really be moving you in the right direction here, and allowing you to continue growing and start. I'm just sort of feeling, I just have this, it's I was going to say like a weird feeling, but it's my intuition telling me that it's going to actually release you, take you to places that you maybe weren't expecting somehow. When those dice fall for you after you unleash that emotional creativity, there will be some stuff that sort of rolls along and falls into place. And it's kind of like, if you don't do that first little release of your energy, it's not actually putting things into motion for you here. So I do feel like it's kind of important for you to do that step, Pisces. Okay, but we'll have a look at love and romance. What's going on for Pisces in February with love and romance? For some reason I'm hearing, ooh, lover, lover, Mr. Bombastic. I do not know what that is about. It may have some sort of meaning for someone there. Once again, it may just be that creative expression, or get up and dance and sing along to some. To me, that's like one of them songs where you dance, and if you're singing along to that song, you feel a bit like crazy, hectic energy. It really inspires some sort of happy, weird energy, which is what you obviously need at the moment, Pisces. Love and romance for Pisces in February. Ooh, some really good energy here, Pisces, when it comes to love and romance. I do hear a couple of you sort of saying that you're not interested in love and romance. So if that's you, take it to sort of resonate as in self-love, all right? Because that is love and romance. You can romance yourself, Pisces. But for others of you, this is going to resonate with actual love and romance. But the main thing here we have is stability. Okay, finding your balance and not rocking the boat, poised, calm, steady. So you're finding that steadiness and that love for yourself anyway, regardless of whether you're connected to somebody or not. That it's all about, that stability within your own self. Like I sort of said right at the start when we we're talking about that anchor card there. Being able to rely on your own energy, being able to rely on being in the present and sort of finding some sort of balance between the past and the present and the future. It's that steady balance that if you are too heavily in one of those, it rocks the boat. You're going to fall off and you get stuck in the past or stuck in the future. Whereas you need that balance of taking them all on board. Hidden desires. There's someone else or a fantasy that's unfulfilled, secret, tempted affair. All right, so I am actually picking up here that it's not necessarily, someone else or an affair. Not at all. I feel like this is more along the lines of a secret fantasy for a majority of you, that there's just something that maybe you, like for some of you, it may be like connected to somebody else, but I don't think it's anything to do with like having an actual affair or anything like that. It may just be something along the lines of, you're utilizing the image of someone else to get things going for yourself. It's that energy of, like you're thinking about, Jason Momoa or Megan Fox or something. You're thinking about somebody else while you're with somebody, in your real life here. It may just be a bit of a fantasy thing that's sort of getting you going at the moment. For others of you, this is like a kink, okay? It definitely could be like a kink that you are starting to think about. Maybe I would like to try that. And it's sort of popping up for some reason during February. Love blooms. We do have two flower kind of images coming through here. A romance blossoms into full-blown feelings, unfolding, beauty, and possible. Okay, so you're seeing extra layers of beauty in the love connections around yourself, even if that's just within your own self. It's like a rose, right? You may have been able to see the rose for quite a long time here, this person, this connection, this part of yourself. But it's kind of like it's opening up a little bit more, and you're able to now see some new petals coming through, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know that they were there, and look, oh, they're so pretty. Like it's just like that extra layer to things for you here. Rambling rose. So we definitely have some roses this month, which, it's Valentine's Day, so a lot of you probably are going to be, around the roses energy. I'm actually picking up for a lot of you, it's more along the lines of, rather than being given a bunch of roses, typical Valentine's Day thing, you may actually be visiting a place that has quite a lot of roses growing. So or you may just pay attention to roses this month. It may not even have anything to do with Valentine's Day in the middle of the month for you. You may just be drawn to places that, have rose imagery or rose scents, or roses growing in the yard, those sorts of things. Growing apart or getting some space to think. It does say evolving and outsiders. I feel as though this is not necessarily, like, for those of you within a connection, I don't think this is you actually getting some space away from this person. It feels more like platonic connections that you're needing some space from, that you maybe are needing to just get away with your connection, and just spend some time just with them. I'm just kind of picking up that you may have, had a lot of people around you, and your connection of late, and it's time to actually just focus on one another for a little bit here, so that you don't grow apart. You may just need some time apart from, family, friends, work, even, So that's what I'm picking up for you today, Pisces. You are more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all again soon.